Breakthroughs, returns, historic feats. How PH Sports unfolded in 2025. Manila, the past year saw new sports stars emerge in the Philippines, with one particular athlete rising higher than the rest. Filipina tennis player Alex Ila reached new heights in 2025, making history with virtually every match in the WTA Tour while winning hearts at home with her fighting spirit and humility. There were also returns. Manny Pacquiao stepped back into the ring this year, submitting an impressive performance considering his long layoff from boxing. Capping the year was a mixed bag of results in the 33rd Southeast Asian Games in Thailand, where Filipino athletes delivered plenty of golden moments but also missed the target set by the nation's sports officials. 2025 will be remembered as the year that Alex Ila went from an up-and-comer to a full-fledged star. She started the year with a dream run in the Miami Open, where she defeated a bevy of Grand Slam champions, Yelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, and Iga Swiatek, en route to a semi-final appearance. There, she lost to Jessica Pegula, but the sensational campaign was enough for her to make it to the WTA's top 100. What followed was a busy year full of historic results. Ila made her debut in the French Open and Wimbledon, each time losing in the first round. She reached the finals of the Eastbourne Open, a WTA 250 tournament, where she lost to Maya Joint in a heartbreaker. She went on to make her debut in the US Open, where she defeated Clara Tauson in the first round, making her the first Filipino to win a Grand Slam match. While Ila endured some struggles in the second half of the season, she ended her campaign on a high note by delivering a gold medal in women's singles in the 2025 Southeast Asian Games, snapping a 26-year drought for the Philippines in the event. 4 years after he announced his retirement, Filipino boxing icon Manny Pacquiao returned to the sport that made him a global superstar. Pacquiao stepped back into the ring in July against Mario Barrios, where the 46-year-old gave a good account of himself and showed that he still has what it takes to compete at a high level. Despite training for only 2 months after his failed attempt to win a Senate seat, Pacquiao still took Barrios to the distance and eventually settled for a majority draw. Nonetheless, there were some factions who believed that the Pac-Man deserved the victory over his much younger opponent, who retained the WBC welterweight belt with the result. Pacquiao has since hinted that he will fight again in 2026, even reuniting with his old promoter, Top Rank, for the next steps in his career. The 2025 SEA Games in Thailand was a coming-out party for Filipina athletes who delivered breakthrough medals for the country. Ila, of course, topped the list with her terrific run. She dominated a hometown bet in Maninkaya Sawanki, 6-1, 6-2, in the final for a gold medal that was widely celebrated throughout the nation. The Philippine women's national football team also continues to make history. In Thailand, they copped a first-ever gold medal in football for the Philippines, in the process beating the home nation in the semis and 4-time defending champion Vietnam in the finals. Along the way, they displayed the grit and fighting spirit that have come to define the Filipinas. Their match against Thailand and Vietnam both went into penalties, but each time they held their nerve to seal the victory. The women's beach volleyball team also secured a first-ever gold medal by dethroning Thailand, the reigning 8-time champions of the event. It was an emotional triumph for the veteran pair of Cici Rondina and Bernadette Pons, who also got a superb effort from the tandem of Dij Rodriguez and Sonny Villalpando on their way to the top of the podium. Meanwhile, an 11-year-old in Mazel Paris Allegado was the country's youngest gold medalist in Thailand after ruling the Extreme Skateboard Women's Park event. Another 11-year-old, Elizabeth Amador, took silver to give the Philippines a 1-2 finish. Filipina swimmers also made a splash, notably Kayla Sanchez, who went home with a stunning haul of 3 gold medals and 5 silvers in her first SEA Games for the Philippines. Agatha Wong also remains the wushu queen of Southeast Asia, while the RP Blue Girls extended their dominance in softball. Meanwhile, 16-year-old Naomi Caesar struck gold in her first SEA Games, ruling the women's 800-meter, while Tatiana Mangan took down a hometown bet for a Taekwondo gold. Another SEA Games debutante, 38-year-old Kimberly Custodio, ruled the women's Eniwaza 48 kg division in jiu-jitsu. Filipino athletes wound up with 50 gold medals, 73 silvers, and 154 bronzes, good for 6th place on the medal table. While this was lower than the target of 5th place set by the Philippine Olympic Committee, the country's sports officials still hailed the performance of Filipino athletes, particularly in sports that saw them overcome the host nation. A year after his triumph in the Paris Olympics, Filipino gymnast Carlos Yulo continues to excel on the global stage. Yulo claimed the gold medal in vault in the 2025 FIG Artistics Gymnastics World Championships in October, his third mint in the worlds after a floor exercise gold in 2019 and his first vault gold in 2021. Yulo took a break after the World Championships, opting to sit out the SEA Games over restrictions put in place by the host nation. The gymnast is expected to be in action in next year's Asian Games in Japan. The Philippines served as hosts to several international sporting events in 2025, with Philippine Sports Commission, PSC, Chairman Patrick Gregorio noting that these undertakings also boosted the country's tourism sector. Among the most high-profile competitions held in the Philippines last year were the 21st FIV Volleyball Men's World Championship in September, which saw the Alas Pilipinas men win the hearts of local fans with their brave display, the inaugural edition of the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup in November, and the 2025 Junior World Artistic Gymnastics Championships, also in November. The International Series Philippines, held in October at the STA Elena Golf Club, was made more special after local Bet Miguel Tabueno won the competition. In September, the World Pole Vault Challenge was held at the Ayala Triangle Gardens, with EJ Obaina ruling the inaugural edition of his home meet. The Philippines also hosted the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series in El Nido in April, the Asian Open Figure Skating Trophy in August, and the Reyes Cup in October. The collegiate sports scene also saw returns, this time, in the form of powerhouse programs reaching the top of the mountain anew. In the UAP, De La Salle University completed a season of redemption by dethroning the University of the Philippines in their third straight meeting for the crown. In the ENSE, meanwhile, San Beda swept arch-rival Letran for the Season 101 championship.